Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. Jacalyn. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. Jacalyn at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. I'm the president, founder, and chief listening officer here at our network. We are 29 live broadcasts strong each and every week. Thank you so much for joining us. Our show today is the amazing adventures of Lady Ella. Who is Lady Ella? Lady Ella is a ladybug, teaches animal characters how to listen better. And so each of these animals represented on this book cover is a person who has passed the Power of Listening certification course and is committed to helping children and their family members, their guardians, take care and note of how important it is to listen to each other at an elevated level. So thank you to all the elevated listeners out there. Our community continues to grow. We have one of those members here today who is also a trifecta of co-hosts here on our platform. She's an expert presenter on Talking Heads, and she's pretty darn successful in and of her own right. Let's meet the lovely Diann Floyd Boehm. Hello.
Hi, Dr. Jacalyn. How are you today?
I'm well, thanks. How are you, Diann?
Doing great. Yay, it's sunny.
Yay. It's, you know what? It's been pouring here and the sun just came out. So we're both in sunny places. I love it. And you've got a smile on your face. You've got all your beautiful books behind you. Thanks again for being here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And I'm so excited about what all you're doing. It's going to help everybody around the world.
Well, thank you, Diann, and thank you for being part of it. Our show today is really to give people a little bit of insight to why you decided to get involved in this project, how you selected the character you selected, how you selected the name, and then to talk about the work that you're doing. So let's just take a step back. And for people joining us for the first time, The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella, the Listening Mentor, is one of 7 books that I am co-writing with my friend Mariska Dupree. She is in New Zealand. And this particular book, the first one that you see here next to me, has been completed. I just met with my book coach today, Red O'Loughlin. So we're making great progress towards our launch date, which is November 26th. And Diann has taken the Power of Listening course. She's been certified. And she, when I asked, would you like to be involved with this project? She said yes. So Diann, what is it about listening skills that you find to be so important as a human and also in the work that you do?
Sure. First of all, congratulations, 7 books. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, everybody, as soon as Dr. Jacalyn shared with me this vision that she had, I was in, because listening is a skill. No matter who we are, how important we are, etc., we have to be good listeners. As a mom, as a dad, grandma, etc., family members. If you work in Congress, you need to be a good listener. And it's a skill that you actually have to acquire, because you think you're listening, but in actuality, your mind might be going, I can't wait till they shut up so I can say what I think they need to know. And so with Dr. Jacalyn, what I love about your course is because you have these actors that help role play, we're able to step back and go, ooh, I do that, and I didn't even realize it. And it just helps us to become stronger and be a better person. And so when you said you were going to develop it for children, then of course, with my background being education and helping kids become good listeners, read well, etc., you just struck a nerve that a happy nerve that I absolutely wanted to be a part of it. So thank you for even asking me.
Well, thank you, Diann, because I know that if it's a concept that is a good fit for children and you say yes, then I know we've got that golden stamp of approval. So thank you.
It absolutely is, absolutely, and your book cover is incredible. I mean, just like children are going to be gravitating to it, parents are going to gravitate before they even know what it is. They're going to gravitate to the book because the cover is so engaging.
Thank
Just
you, Diann. Thank you. That's so nice. Before we get into your character and which one it is and how why you named it, I want to have you share with our audience. You are an international award-winning author, and you've lived all over the world. You have an incredible network of people, and you know what it takes to really get into how to stimulate, inspire, draw in an audience. You're a master storyteller. So if you would share with our audience, what is it? What's that hook that you get to draw people in?
I think being natural and when inspiration comes and you're asking for inspiration for a particular thing in person or audience, that you wait for that inspiration, and when it comes, grab it. The writing just doesn't happen overnight, but I've always been a storyteller. And so I think because when you are a storyteller or you're just beginning, you learn the the craft of how to raise your voice, how not to raise your voice, as you're telling the story. And that helps set the mood and bring people in to what you're trying to get across. Hope that answered your question.
Yes, it did. Thank you. That was really very well put. Now, you've written children's books as well as young adults, and you've written in different genres, historical, nonfiction, etc. When you think about a children's book, what are some things that really stand out as opposed to other types of books that are out there? For example, the length, um, anything else that comes to mind?
Sure. Well, first of all, I had to start learning about this craft because it's a when you write a book, it's very different from just verbal storytelling, and because the craft there's a you can write a story, but how's it going to work, and how you're going to get it to the market. There's like these so many details in regards to what you're specifically asking. It's all about what is it that your audience is interested in? And with children, it's all kinds of things. So sunflowers, like you see behind me, you might see a little book that has some animals in it and so forth. Things that resonate with your audience is where you want to go. And then you have to make sure that you write in a vocabulary that children can understand, comprehend, and they feel comfortable reading the book. And so I work very hard to make sure that I do not go above vocabulary. And there are certain rules that has to do with how many pages, how many words, etc. So you have to look it up, and I won't go into the details with you, but talking heads, you can find out.
Thanks, Diann. So we actually have, I can find the graphic here. We have a larger graphic of the book cover, and I'd like you to just talk a little bit, if I can find it. You can speak a little bit to your animal character. Here we go. So which one is you, Diann?
I'm the gazelle.
Front row there. And so why did you pick a gazelle, and what did you name the gazelle?
It was really difficult to decide because there's so many incredible animals. And after having the blessings to be able to go on a safari after doing some work in Kenya, you even get closer to the animals in a way because you see them in their own habitat, and you just sit quietly and listen. Dr. Jacalyn, there's no talking, you listen. And the gazelle was just so beautiful to watch them run and then just stop and then they get very quiet, and then they look around, and they're listening to something, but you can't hear anything. And then pretty soon they take off, and you're like, I wonder what made them go. And then pretty soon you see a lion, and you're like, oh, they got good ears, because it had been almost, a minute or so before a lion showed up. And so then when you asked me to do this, I thought, I really was struck by the gazelle. So I started reading more about them. And guess what, Dr. Jacalyn? They're known to be good listeners.
Aha. There it is, Diann. Thank you.
I was like, there you go. That's Dr. Jacalyn has to have a gazelle.
I love that. It makes so much sense, Diann. And something else I wanted to ask you, when it comes to children's books, you have not gone the publish it yourself route, correct?
Correct.
All right. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I'm what they call a hybrid author. And I absolutely love it because I don't have to worry about getting the book, putting it together. I don't have to worry about all the details. I can just write the story. And then there's a company. So for me, I have OC Publishing out in Canada and Texas Sister Press here in Texas. So I'm very lucky to have two publishing companies. And they take care of all the details. And I just have to get approval that they like the story and they accept it and they want to print it and underneath their name. And you pay them for the service. But that's what that hybrid is. If you go the traditional route, you don't pay anything, but you except maybe to your agent possibly, but you do not get as much in royalties. So what I like about the hybrid is I have more of a say-so of how the book's put together, working with the artist. There's just so many pluses to it all, and I won't go into all the details, but that for me, that was totally the way to go.
Thanks, Diann. I think you also brought up something else that's really important when you said that you pay for it. I think people are under the misperception that certain things shouldn't have to be paid for, but yet they want to be paid. So when someone does work for you, why wouldn't you pay them? But people are surprised in many cases, whatever the certain position is, you're going to charge for that? Well, yes, this is what I do. Do you get paid for what you do? So if someone is helping you get your book published or someone's helping you edit your book or illustrate your book, of course they deserve to be paid, because unless you have some other arrangement with them, right?
Yeah, if you're barter trading, maybe that's still a payment, right? But exactly. No, if you do go with some of the big names, which won't be stated at the moment, but generally it's obvious who they are. Yeah, you didn't pay, but it took you a long time to get there, and it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to market for you. You're still going to have to do your own marketing for the most part, and then you don't get as much in royalties. Where yes, in hybrid publishing, you pay for them to get the book all together and make it look, it's extremely professional, because that's very important to me. And then voila, you're finished. Every time a book sells, the royalty is 100% yours. And so you're still not making that much, because authors don't make that much in general. Even well-known authors don't, unless you hit the big time with the movies or something, but that's very slim. But the main thing I love about it is, again, like I stated before, is you have more control. And yes, I had to let go of some money, but was it worth it? Plus, the publishers teach you things too along the way, and you have to keep learning about the craft.
It's truly an art. And I love something also that you said about the money. And I think people have a misnomer of they're going to get rich when they get a book published. And maybe you do. We all know some big names. But many cases, we publish the book because we have this sense of purpose, that we feel that what we have to share could possibly help change the life of one person or entertain one person, inspire someone. What are your thoughts about that, Diann? Does that resonate with you?
It absolutely does. Look, in anything you do in life, you should do something that makes you happy, that makes you want to get up in the morning, because then you're giving your very best. When you go to work and you dread it, then you're not where you're supposed to be. And if, money's great, we all, need to pay our bills and everything, but is it worth getting sick over? I don't think so. Is it worth being so stressed that you can't come home and enjoy your family? Or if you still, like for me, my kids are all grown. It's my husband and I, and so we have more time to listen to music. But if I'm so stressed, I might want to crawl up into a ball and not hear anything. So you have to decide to do something that brings joy and happiness in your life. And for me, storytelling always has, whether I was on stage, singing, acting, verbally, and now written. And I chose to leave some, I loved teaching. It was incredible. It was time for the younger people, and I can reach a lot of people through books. So I decided to go that route.
It's a beautiful story, Diann. Thank you for sharing it with us. Do you feel like as a master storyteller and as someone who really has lived around the world and has a global community, do you feel that you're always on? You've been on stage for most of your life. Do you feel like you're always putting on that hat of storyteller or performer because people expect that from you? Or are you able to kind of take some hats off and just decompress and just be you?
Oh, definitely. So be compressed and be me. If people are expecting me to always be on, that would be so fake. And I'm not a fake person. And I don't want to be around people that are fake. And if people want me to always be dressed to the nines and have my hair perfect and my lipstick on and blah, 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 then they really don't know me, because if they really know me, they're going to come sit down in the garden in the mud and dig with me. I'll tell you another story too, Dr. Jacalyn, if I may. So the other night I had a girlfriend night. It was so exciting. I hadn't seen her in so long. And it turned out that one of my high school friends has a band called Steady Freddy. And he was performing just about 30 minutes away from here. And his band is really, really good. And I said, look, I almost said my girlfriend's name. Anyway, you need to get out and relax. We're going to go have some fun. So we got dressed up and just jeans and a blouse, and we didn't care, but we looked really cute. And then we were just ourselves, listening to music and clapping and so forth. And that's not what I do when I'm on stage, because on stage I have a certain way I have to be. So depending on the character. But it was really fun.
I love that, Diann. And we're not on fashion, travel, and fitness, but I'm loving your top today. Tell us about that.
So I have on a scarf, and it was made here in Texas from a Texas company. And actually, you can send in your pictures and they'll make scarves out of it for you. And bluebonnets is the state flower. So this happens to be the state flower scarf, which I absolutely love. And I thought, well, I might as well enjoy this pretty scarf because
very pretty. So I thought it was. So your shoulders are showing, which is nice, the cold shoulder look.
Yeah. And, for those listening, when you get to a certain age, it's kind of nice to get a scarf, and kind of bring it up like that. And then you could just kind of put one over if you're conscientious about your arms or whatever. So.
Yeah. And actually, we did a whole episode on fashion, travel, and fitness about scarves, at least one episode, maybe two.
Yeah, I know. I was actually thinking we needed to do that again because winter's coming, and scarves and shawls and everything can really make a dress. And I was going to church the other day, and I knew it was going to be kind of chilly in there. And then I thought, we really do need to bring that back, because let's lengthen out the time that you can wear short sleeves by just putting on a really cute sweater, or maybe you have a long little lightweight little jacket that you can put on, and it gives it a whole different look, and it's a good transition into your fall clothes.
Absolutely. You just made me think of something. This Friday on the Power of Etiquette and manners. We're featuring Elsa Butarik, who is doing a whole thing on revamping your closet and changing up your style. So I'm looking forward to that. So
I'm going to have to catch that one.
small digression. So what I wanted to share with you, because I haven't done the private reading yet of the book for our team members, but in this book, there, as you can see on the cover, there's a definite fence that's surrounding Gentle Farm. And there are some animals on one side of the fence and others on the other side. And many times in life, there are these invisible as well as pronounced fences between us. And so in this book, the animals have to learn how to overcome their judgments and perceptions about the animals on the other side. And in writing this and coming from the perspective of animal characters, it was kind of unique as opposed to people. You know, if you have one person who's Republican and one person's Democrat and you're writing about that, that's a little bit easier to try to exactly. But when it comes to animals and trying to teach lessons to children, it's not maybe as cut and dried. What have you found in your work?
Well, first of all, congratulations, because what you came up with is so key. Children gravitate to animals. And even when parents are reading the stories, it's easier to get a message through to the parents even with an animal than it is over a person. I don't know why that is, but I guess it's like you said, there's invisible fences. And I actually love that term. I might have to steal that from you, Dr. Jacalyn, because there are invisible fences. And what I've learned in my teaching and so forth is that when kids would come into my classroom, the older children that changed classes, I would actually have music playing softly because I wanted them to leave all the ugliness, all their thoughts. Maybe they had a hard time in their class before. They had to leave it behind because when they walked into my classroom, everyone was a family and you had to work together. Even if you thought you didn't like this one person, you learned and discovered that, man, they're kind of cool after all. But I judged them because, you know, I really never like the clothes they wear. And you hear all these little things and then you go, wow, look at these friendships blooming and blossoming, I guess I should say. And that's kind of how I did that in my professional life. And I think that's what you're doing. And you're making a book, and you're going to make life so much easier for teachers and parents. I'm really excited. I really am.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited. And I'm also excited for your book, Time to Fly. And you had an Amazon Prime interview. We're going to hear all about that. Before we do, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to watch some sponsorships from Diann Floyd Boehm. So I'm super excited. It's the Diann Floyd Boehm Show, DFB. So let's take a look and we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Thank you. Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to Story Garden. Your host, Diann Boehm. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Diann Floyd Boehm tells wonderful stories that warm the heart, spark the imagination, and unite people and families across generations. For children, Diann's Harry the Camel connects with all of us who've ever wondered how different our lives might have been if only we'd been born something better, like a wonderful horse instead of an ordinary camel. In the end, we all learn along with Harry that there's nothing better than just being yourself. Diann's Little Girl in the Moon looks down on earthbound children and wonders if they know she's just like them. A story of love, home, and the bond between mother and daughter, its powerful theme that we're each of us different yet all of us the same plants a seed in children that promises to blossom within a loving and trusting grown-up. Diann's new biography, Rise, recounts the experiences of her grandmother, Ruby, to reveal the hidden strength of the human spirit. Ruby's story inspires all of us to become the best versions of ourselves. You'll find all of Diann's delightful books and much more at DiannFloydBoehm.com. Visit DiannFloydBoehm.com. That's DiannFloydBoehm.com.
Kapayapaan, kapayapaan, kapayapaan.
Diann Floyd Boehm's A Song of Peace tells the story of a young lad named Tommy whose fervent wish for peace on earth touches the hearts of his friends and family, spreads to his community, and eventually unites the whole world around making his dream of peace a reality for everyone. Sit down with the children in your life and share Tommy's amazing story of love and hope. Sing your own song of peace and invite the children to join you. Tommy's tale is more than just a story. It's a movement, and everyone's warmly welcome to take part.
Kapayapaan, 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 kapayapaan.
You'll find A Song of Peace, along with many other wonderful learning and enriching opportunities for children of all ages, at DiannFloydBoehm.com.
And welcome back to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm still Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and this show is still the amazing adventures of Lady Ella, the listening mentor. If you'd like to pre-order your copy, please click on the link that you will see there. You can pre-order for $3.99 for the Kindle version. All right, let's get back to the show. Our star of the show today is a gazelle named Zelle, who is really Diann Floyd Boehm. Let's welcome her back. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Zelle. I love the name Zelle.
I love the name Zelle. It sounds very Parisian, is it?
I don't think so. I just thought, if I was a gazelle, what would I be? I want to be Zelle.
Well, you know what I'm thinking? Mademoiselle.
Oh, there you go.
Reminds
See, kind of sexy too.
You know, one of the future books in the series of 7 is going to take place in Paris because I'm a big Parisian fan. So.
Oh, how fun. How fun. Dr. Jacalyn, I know this is all about listening, but when you said that, there's so much that you're going to have to your workbooks, I know, but I can see geography in there too. And it's going to be so amazing for teachers in all different curriculum areas. And I just wanted to share that with you.
Thanks.
Because I was a curriculum director, so.
So as a teacher, as someone who's been in academia for so long, what is it that listening is not a course that people take? I mean, I'm 59 and a half now. I've never taken a listening course. What is up with that?
Actually, it is. It's just built into your curriculum. In elementary school, it's built into your reading lessons, and it continues on as you develop and move into your English and geography. There's always comprehension. And depending on the school and the state and how they do things, some of the report cards will even have comprehension grade, listening grade, etc. They break it down. And what's great about that for parents is they can zero in on, okay, this is an area that I really need to work on with my child in the listening, developing skills. So it's in there. They just don't call it listening.
So good news abounds that listening is being taught. And when we are together, you and I, on another show, we were talking about joy, the joy in listening, as opposed to, oh, I have to listen to her again. I have to listen to this again. There can be joy in listening. When I say that to you, what comes up for you?
I think I wish I would have had that statement when I was young in the classroom, or even as a student myself, because there is joy in it. And if you use that word joy and you think about it before that professor or your classroom teacher, whatever grade it is, walks in, you have a different mindset. And so you could be dreading it, But if you tell yourself, I'm going to find the joy into why I need to know what this person's going to deliver, then you're more open and accepting to listen.
Agreed. And I also think it's an opportunity. When you don't listen to someone, it's actually a lost opportunity to learn something, whether or not it's learning their perspective or where they're coming from, or maybe where there's the great divide between how you're feeling and how they're feeling. But if you're not actually listening, you're not going to learn anything, because all you're doing is talking or checking out.
I love that. It is an opportunity. And I think that's something that we all don't stop and think about, that it is an opportunity. I like that one too, Dr. Jacalyn. You're just on a roll. The fence and that. But it is. I mean, because if, let's say, like, for example, I knew my friend was coming over and we were going to have this girl day. And I already had in my brain everything I wanted to tell her that's been going on. And she had in her brain everything she wanted to tell me that she had going on. And I remember as she was talking, then I thought, you know what, I'm just going to listen, because she needs me to listen right now. And I just let everything else go. And I think if we could all stop and do that, it might be good. What do you think?
I think that is a great idea, Diann, and I really admire you for doing that. I found people like to talk to me. I don't know why, but there are times when I really have things that I want to talk about. This just happened recently. I'm not going to say with anyone. It was not on this platform. And I thought, oh, it's great. I'm meeting with this person. I have all these things that I just want to share. But the other person had things they wanted to share, and they started launching into it. So what I found is many times what we'll do is we'll think to ourselves, okay, as soon as she shuts up, I'm going to say what I have to say. And now we're no longer listening. And that's a chance for the other person to share what's on their mind. And by doing that, you're giving them a safe space to trust, to believe that somebody does value what it is they have to say, whether you agree with it or not.
Absolutely. And I will share with you that I haven't always been like that. And your classes that I took helped me to become a better listener. And I'd like to think I might have stepped back and said in my brain, I'm just going to listen, and not give advice, by the way, because I love to share what I'm thinking might be a good idea. But because I did take your classes, I learned to zip my lip, to put it bluntly.
I'm laughing about that. That's a good terminology, but thank you. It is hard. It is difficult when we feel so passionate about something. And that's why in this book, the animal characters, without giving away too much detail, they're not actually communicating very effectively, and something happens and each one of them has a different idea of what it is, which is the way things happen in the real world. And instead of thinking to yourself, well, maybe there are more than one possibility, maybe there's only one true fact. What is the truth? I don't know. But we can all have a different perspective or perception of it. And in this book, that's what the animals come to realize through the help of Lady Ella, the listening mentor. So in writing it and even thinking about it and doing the listening mentor show every week, I constantly find myself having to hone my listening skills, because I listen to people all week long, right? And it's not an easy thing to do.
No, it's not. And one of the reasons I picked the gazelle was because they are known to be good listeners. But you always have that one person in the classroom, and you really can see it. You might be too young, but there was a television show called Leave It to Beaver, and I picked that one because hopefully a lot of people are resonating with this. And there was always that one child who thought, Miss Smarty Pants, who thought she knew everything because she listened to everything. But the fact is that the gazelle might be listening to everything, but she didn't have all the answers. And she could become even a stronger listener. And that's the same way in the classroom. There might be some people like, oh, ask so-and-so, she listens to everything, or he listens to everything. But they might listen, but they don't necessarily have the answers. And so I thought the gazelle has an opportunity to show to the students that read the book that you always can be learning. And that's what I wanted to get across, was you can always be learning no matter how many stars you get for listening that day.
That is beautiful. And I feel, and I've said this before, every Friday after Pet Psychic Ominous show, I just take a big breath and I think, I cannot believe how much I've learned. And I started keeping track of it on Facebook, putting thanks to everyone. This is what I learned. It was like so long. I thought, I can't. It's just, it's too much. It's another thing. But the point is, I think also when you are listening at an elevated level, it takes a lot of that pressure off of coming up with solutions, of interrupting. If you just say, okay, Diann wants to speak right now, I'm just going to take a deep breath. I'm going to focus on Diann. I'm going to listen to Diann. I don't have to do any talking. I'm putting all my energy into listening. And if I'm trying to listen and talk, it's not going to work out too well.
No, because as you said, an invisible fence comes up because the other person starts blocking, like, okay, my gosh, you didn't hear a thing I said. I'm just going to wait till you finish, and then I'm going to let you have it, right?
Exactly.
But if you do put your energy into listening, the person softens. And like you stated earlier, you validated that that person was worth listening to, and communication can happen.
Exactly. And again, in my experience, effective communication happens when it's not about being right. It's not about winning the argument. I must have the last word. No, you do not have to have the last word. And what I found is, depending on our mindset, and the animals experience this in the book, there's one situation where one of the animal characters is afraid, and as a result of being afraid, says and does things. And we do this as humans. We become highly agitated, very emotional. And instead of considering the other person and where they are, we just launch into whatever it is. You've seen this before. Somebody comes through the door of your home, blah, 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 blah. Or you answer the phone and someone just, and you're like, oh my gosh, I was in the middle of meditate, whatever it is. They just launch into it. But you want to be there for them. And I feel like, you being an elevated listener and me being the listening mentor, we are very aware of how we're showing up for other people. And sometimes we might catch ourselves and say, oh, okay, I forgot a little bit. But when you don't have the knowledge, you're not even aware of what you're doing.
Absolutely. And that's why I'm so glad I took your courses, because you made me aware. Sometimes the older we get, we think, because we've had so many experiences, that we're like, oh, I remember doing that. Let me show you how I got out of it. And it isn't about you. And that was something I really came to understand in one of your courses, for sure, maybe two of them, but was that practice of, like, it's not about you. You do not have to have the last word. Let that person share things, and maybe they need to have the last word, and it helps strengthen who they are, and maybe even the bond between the two of you. I don't know what you think about that, but that's what how I feel.
I absolutely do feel that. I feel like when we ask for permission to speak, which is not like, oh, you're a bad person, you're in the corner, but when you ask someone, Diann, would this be a good time to share something I have with you? I've gotten feedback from people that they don't feel like they want to do that, because why do they have to ask their loved one, their partner, whomever? Because you want their full attention. And they're not able to give you their full attention if they're doing something else. And instead of making it a tug of war where, I just came home from work and I need to speak to you right now. Well, you're a person and you're doing whatever it is you're doing, and that's important to you. So I feel like if we could drop these control issues, and having a stake in the ground about, I'm more important, what I have to say is more important across the world. No one's more important than another. But yet we act like what we have to say is so important. You see this on network news. I don't even watch anymore. I've seen it on reality TV shows where the characters, the anchors, they just start screaming at each other.
Yes, yes. But to bring it also back down to the children level, um, what I love about it is to remember that we all have insecurities. And when you're a child trying to figure out where you fit in the classroom because you've already figured out, oh, that person's popular, will they really speak to me? Um, and now I'm going to be put in a group and I'm with that, the two most popular kids. And, I don't know how I fit in. And then you start working on everything. And then you have an idea that you want to share, but you're like, should I share it? Because, they're so much smarter because they're popular. And so the little kid has built this story in their mind, and the story's not even true, but they have it. And so by helping kids be a good listener, then maybe these stories can calm down in a kid's head. And it isn't about popularity, it's about teamwork. And I think that's something that you are helping um, help you're helping do, because we do forget that if we think about our own childhood and our own insecurities. Like, I'm telling you, when I went to fifth grade and I changed schools, and Rhonda Blackshear was the most popular kid in school, and Sherry the second, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna be like them, and they'll never speak to me, And that was like hogwash, and it turned out that they were like really fun to play with, but I had to get over it, right?
Exactly. And that's a great story that you shared. Thank you. We don't know how they were feeling about themselves. And maybe, this is an old truth, I guess, but many times if you are the prettiest, or you are the most athletic, or you are the most intelligent, there's a lot of pressure that comes with that, and you secretly could be hating yourself, that why am I in this position? I can't keep up with this pressure, and would anybody like me if I wasn't so intelligent, or does anybody really like me just for me? People
Mhm.
ask themselves that, and then you carry that through to your adulthood, and many times you're shutting people out because of these feelings of self deprecation.
Right, that you've done to yourself, right?
Yes, it's a big circle.
Right, right. So I really feel your books are going to help in so many ways.
Well,
So
thank you, Diane. If I could only be as spot on as you are. You just put out another book, A Time to Fly. We're featuring it in our global magazine, Global Post magazine, also in our newsletter. Tell us about the fabulous interview that you did and on Amazon, and then how people can actually watch it.
sure, I'll be happy to. Thank you so much. So here it is, A Time to Fly. I'm so proud of it. And it's a book that's really ageless, because we've all had these moments where we didn't want to walk through that door. We were very nervous. And that's what happens to this little bluebird. He watched his siblings, his little brother and sister, take off, but he was just so content. He loved home. He had everything he needed there. His mommy and daddy brought him his food. Why on earth should he leave something so cozy? And the mama helps him realize, the house is getting kind of big for that little nest, etc. And in through the story, what happens is he discovers that he can fly, and he soars. And so that's what we want as parents. We want our kids to soar, whether it's going to preschool for the first time, kinder, first grade, even high school. Each step is our milestone, is that moment of, can I do it? And A Time to Fly helps you realize that you can do it. And that's what the book's all about. And I did it on Amazon. I'm so excited to be on Amazon Prime and talk about the story. When you get, a call saying your book's doing really well, how'd you like to be on Amazon Prime? And you're like, what? Yes. And so, but you can watch it on the replay. It's on my website, diannfloydboehm.com. If you're on LinkedIn, you can go to my profile page, and it's there under features. And yeah, or you can just Google it, because it's on YouTube on D. Scott. He is the Amazon influencer, and it's on his website as well.
Thank you so much, Diann. We also have the link up here. Wherever you are watching, go ahead and click that link. If you're on the radio or you're listening to a podcast in the future, please go to Amazon. You can also go to DiannFloydBoehm.com and you'll be able to pick up all of Diann's books. How many books are there now? 9?
9. I have another book coming out. It'll be my 9th book, actually. And on October the 8th, there you go. And it's called Charlie and the Tire Swing, which is the beginning of Charlie's adventures. You're the first person to hear that.
Yay. I love it. And I love that book cover, by the way, too.
Thank you.
So we will be excited to help support that launch for you with you. So look forward to having you back. Diann, you're doing so much here on this channel, this network. Tell us where we can find you here on USA Global TV and radio.
Sure. All you have to do is go to Dr. Jacalyn's website or YouTube channel. But when you're there at USA Global TV and radio, you can go to Fashion and Fitness and Travel, and you can go to the UK Culture. So that's really, I love that one. And then you can go to, gosh, Dr. Jacalyn, you threw me off.
The Corner Bookstore.
Corner Bookstore, of course. Yeah, the Corner Bookstore.
And tomorrow, I imagine on the United Kingdom News and Culture, we'll be talking about Liz Truss and the fact that our expert correspondents were right about her taking office. So
that'll be fun. And Dr. Jacalyn, I love being on your shows. And for everyone who's listening or watching, if you're wondering if you can fly, if you can do it, Dr. Jacalyn is an extreme role model example of you going after your dreams. And I have totally loved watching you grow, and I'm inspired by you every day. And I really think, I used to think there was a twin, but now I'm thinking there's a triplet of you, because you're just such an amazing go-getter. I mean, you go after it, and everything is so incredible. And I know you're working your heart out. So yay for you. Thank you for being a blessing to the world.
Oh, thank you, Diann. You're so sweet. And thank you for being with me from the very beginning. You've seen all these steps that we've taken together, and it is really exciting. There's something new coming, which I haven't even told you yet, because I got a contact from one of our team members yesterday. So hopefully we'll be discussing it tomorrow on the UK show, and then we can go there, because I don't even know all the specifics. But it is definitely a lot of fun, and I thank you for all your support and all the people you've brought to this platform, and I'm wishing you continued success in everything that you do.
Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.
All right, I'll see you soon. Thanks again. Bye.
Bye.
So please do go and support Diann. Please buy her books. It's so easy to find them on Amazon. I already put the link there for Time to Fly. You can go to her website. We have that link there as well. And I really mean it from the bottom of my heart. Diann and our team members here, they are about helping other people. And if you're watching this, I know that you have found enjoyment, entertainment, hope, and inspiration from this show or any of our other shows. Please let our team members know that you appreciate them and that you support their work. It would mean so much. If you'd like to be a team member here as well, please do contact me. You can contact me at usaglobaltv.com, contact us, or also at drjacalyn.com, contact us. Okay, our next show is coming right up. It's the Mallorca Connection with Mr. Roland Friedel. And if you haven't met him, he is living in his motorhome, traveling through Europe. So we're very appreciative that he makes sure that he's got Wi-Fi service so that he can do the shows with us. And we'll be right back with that. Thanks again, Diann. Thanks to each and every one of you. Take care.